or an extroverted businessman. This is
Rolling tape. Seconds.
I'm Bruce Apar, and this is Frank J. Rich, and you're watching Frank Talks with Bruce the Blog. Is a weekly community affairs show where we bring you people who are making uniquely significant contributions to the community that we think you want to know about and that we want to make sure you do know about. And if you do know somebody who you think would be a good guest on the show, you can just reach us at Bapar, B-A-P-A-R, at chasemediagroup.com. You also can see all of the previous episodes on YouTube by searching on YouTube for Town Link TV or even NCN Local TV. And the show is brought to you each week by Chase Media Group, provider of multimedia marketing solutions for an omni-channel marketplace, and also publisher of The Penny Saver. And we thank our CEO, Carla Chase, and Frank J. Rich for putting us up every week. And we're very happy to welcome two members of the board of directors of the Justin Veatch Fund, Gary Cusano and Thom Ianniccari. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
And I know over the past several years that the Justin Veatch Fund has become increasingly prominent, not only in Yorktown, where it happens to be based, but throughout the whole region because of all the good work that the fund does with youth and in the music business, in the music area. So why don't we start off, gentlemen, by talking about what the mission is of the Justin Veatch Fund.
Excuse me, Bruce. The mission, mission statement, I'll say, is actually two sentences.
Right.
It's fostering self-expression and positive life choices, and empowering young minds through music. That's what we're all about, because that's what that's our memory for Justin.
Right. And just if you can, briefly let everybody know who Justin Veatch is, who he was, and I know that his whole family and his parents are the ones who, of course, started this very worthy cause and fund to help other young people.
Yeah, Jeffrey and Marina were Justin's parents, and his sister Elena. And he passed away 4 years ago, high school senior in Yorktown. Actually, my daughter went to school with him when they were quite close friends. And he died tragically of a accidental heroin overdose.
Right.
And it's a problem that still persists in our community. And we were discussing earlier, prior to coming live, that very often music is seen as a conduit to substance abuse, and we're trying to turn that around with the Justin Veatch Fund and make it a conduit away from it.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do.
I can add to that as a former professional in the music industry for about 18 years. The whole perception, drugs, music,
right,
and all rock and roll and all that. It's really a very professional career path these days. You don't see you always hear about them, but my experience has been in meeting new artists that are on the scene. That's not really the lifestyle.
Right.
They're not all Kurt Cobains.
Right. Right. But why don't we talk about what are the primary activities of the Justin Veatch Fund, because it is doing a lot of great work, as I was saying before, in the community, and it does really work with young people who already are musicians, right? Who already have developed a certain level of skill in performing and writing music, and so how does the fund work with them? You know, what are some of the activities that everybody should know about?
Well, one of our primary ones is to raise money for high school senior scholarships.
Right.
To going on to college and pursuing music, etc. We have been very successful in a lot of our events and our grant funding to be able to increase that activities. We just handed out for the first time in our four-year history 3 scholarships to 3 area students, extremely talented.
Right.
So that's one effort.
Right, and I know one of the original events that I remember going to. I think it was the very first one a few years ago. Is the open mic night.
Yes.
That's held in Yorktown at the Cultural and Community Center on Commerce Street, which is that's a very popular destination on the first Friday of every month.
First Fridays, we partner with the Teen Center.
Right.
And
Yorktown Teen
we've been
Center.
doing these open mics, and it started out with just Yorktown kids, but now we get kids from all over the county. We give them an opportunity to perform, and for kids to come and watch the performance. There's a PA system,
Right.
There's some lighting now, and we really give them an opportunity to express themselves through their music.
It was actually the idea of Helena Rodriguez, who
Yes.
just stepped down as director and
President, yeah.
president of
Right.
the.
And actually now, I just should note that she's going to become the executive director.
Oh, great!
that's- yeah, yeah.
Her having her hand is very
Right.
important in youth.
Yes.
It was her idea, and she knew about the Justin's story about that time, and she contacted Jeff because he had just started the fund. He says, "Would you manage and produce this open mic night?" And we have it every first Fridays. Gary said October through May.
Right. And how would a young person, let's say, watching the show, who's interested in performing, how would they be able to get?
Very easy.
Yeah.
They can contact me through the website, which is www.thejustinveatchfund.org.
Right.
And there's a tab that's on the top
Right.
of the website, and it says open mic.
Right. And
Put
we
in your
should-
information, and I get the email.
And it's all, I mean, we are showing on the screen the name of the website, and we should just point out it's VEATCH,
Right.
Justin Veatch Fund. And how do you raise money for the fund? What are some of the sources of funding?
Well, we've had local funding come from TD Bank,
Oh, okay.
Entergy,
Right.
the Guitar Center in Ridge Hill, the shopping mall in Yonkers, been very good to us. And then there's some local businesses that from time to time do sponsorships, such as Park Ford sponsored our first ever annual concert.
Sort of Mayopac. Yeah.
Mayopac.
Right. And we should point out that the open mic night doesn't cost anybody anything either,
No.
right? Either the
Correct.
performers or the people attending. It's
Well,
free.
yeah, there's a
Right.
small $5 entry
voluntary
fee.
suggested
fee.
okay, all
Yeah,
right, for the performers.
Right,
Okay,
and we
right.
split that money up between Teen Center and the fund.
Right.
But basically, the open mic night is really probably the first entry into the world of the music community for us. As I said earlier to Frank, I said, I just hang out with teenagers all
Right.
the time.
And
Being
I
a
hope
teenager
they're a good
myself.
influence on you, Tom.
Oh yeah, they are. These teens have wowed me in no uncertain way. I had a band in high school, and it was nothing like what I see today. The collaboration, the technology is incredible.
And do all of them, most of them, if not all of them, write their own music?
A vast majority, I would say, do, either with a band or individually,
Right.
and they really enjoy bringing that out to their peers and especially other musicians and get critiqued and sort of talk about it. And,
Right.
I think
And
it's a great
speaking of Gary, other musicians and other community organizations, I know that the Veatch Fund affiliates itself with, you mentioned the Yorktown Teen Center, I believe also with the Alliance for Safe Kids,
Yes.
known as ASK, which is another Yorktown
Relay.
organization. Relay for Life,
Relay
which
for
I know
Life,
you're
yeah.
involved with, Gary, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I first came into the fund, was because I run the entertainment
Right.
portion of Yorktown's Relay for Life, which is a very large event. And Jeff reached out to me to see if I could bring some of that experience, over to the fund, in which I was, especially with my daughter being friends with Justin, it was easy, it was an easy fit.
Yeah,
Right.
and some of our students have actually performed at the Relay.
Right. And we should mention, because it's extremely timely, that the Veatch Fund also hosts or sponsors a summer music workshop,
Yeah.
right, in Pleasantville in, what are the dates, August
I believe it's
12th and 13th.
12th and
12th and
13th?
13th.
Right.
Monday and
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And this is going to be, is it the third annual or the
It's the fourth.
fourth annual summer? So why don't we talk
It's
about
going to be
that?
our
What-
best one.
And so what happens there? What happens at the summer
Give them
music
some of the
workshop?
highlights.
Well, it's a 2-day workshop, and we bring in the students. We usually have somewhere between 16 and 20 young people, that anywhere from 13 to 17. And they come. Sometimes they bring their own original music. Sometimes they come just with a voice to sing. Sometimes they come in a group. But we give them an opportunity to perform.
Right.
And whether it's their original music or cover songs, but we get them on a beautiful stage and give them an opportunity to express their music, to coordinate with other young musicians, to sort of share their music and collaborate their music. And it's a great, we really focus on having them perform. But we also have special guests, like this year we're going to have Jessica Lynn.
Right.
We have a lot of young ladies that want to be,
Follow
Right.
her path.
Taylor Swift. you
Right,
know?
yes, right,
And Jessica's
right.
got this, great way about her to give them some insight on that. We also have somebody from the Guitar Center coming up to show them how to use GarageBand so they can record their music.
Right.
So that's part of our workshop.
The Apple software. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have Sloan Wainwright, who's semi-famous,
Right.
maybe very famous in this
Right.
area, who does a lengthy vocal workshop, part of the workshop. And the kids really get a lot out of it, even the kids that think that they can't sing.
In fact, some
Right.
of her students, she's asked to go, do live concerts with as background vocalists.
Right. And you have a Chicago musician who I'm not exactly very up on all the contemporary music, but I've heard of his name, Owen. Right.
Right.
I've heard of his name. Yeah.
He'll be coming in, and he'll
Right.
be doing some performing and Q&A for the students.
Right.
As well as we're going to have our first ever business panel. The business of music, what you need to know to promote yourself,
Right.
produce yourself, what to expect, things like that. And we're going to have people like Owen, Stephen Wright Mark, who's another
Yes.
local recording artist that plays with Jessica Lynn. Jessica's father, Peter, will be there. And Rich.
Peter
Richie
Calamera, yeah.
and
Who's
Rich-
had a very successful program on
music,
PBS.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Richie from 12 Grapes,
Right, Rich Credidio.
who
yes.
is a very big supporter of our cause.
Right.
And
Yeah,
a
we
lot
should
of our,
mention, because this show goes to a lot of different areas, 12 Grapes in Peekskill,
Yeah.
which is a very popular restaurant and music venue.
yeah. So we have John Gilmore, who's he's been writing songs and performing for like 40 years. He comes in every year and he teaches kids
Did you say 40 years?
at least.
Right, okay. Not 4, but 40, right.
Yeah, and he teaches them songwriting basics. In fact, he has a program where he does, let's write a song in 50 minutes.
Wow. And we should also mention somebody who actually is a friend of all of us, has been a guest on the show, and a lot of people know Daisy Jopling, right, who's worked a
Daisy's-
lot with the Justin Veatch Fund. Yeah.
Daisy is a de facto music director. She's helped us out a lot.
Right.
And this year, for the first time, we always do a show at the end, the last day, and we invite the parents in
Right.
to come and see it.
Sort of like summer camp, right?
Kind of
Right,
similar.
yeah, right.
But this year, what we're doing is Peter Calamera is going to speak to the parents and what it's like, because his daughter's Jessica Lynn.
Yes.
What it's like to try to
Raise,
help your child, come through the ranks of music and perform, and if they want to do this as a career, what it's kind of like, what they should watch out for.
What you
So
need to know.
it's going to be the first time we're doing that. So I think we're going to invite the parents to show up a little early for the show. Anyone that wants to hear Peter talk.
And I personally love that idea because in my my going about working with these kids is I'm always looking to meet the parents. The parents are the supporters of what we do, and they get to support the growth.
Right. Now, through any of this, does the subject come up with the parents as well as with the young people of the wrong path to take and how to avoid taking that path? Does that come into play? Or?
I've never encountered it. The parents know what we're all about. Have you ever had a discussion with a parent?
No, it has not come up with a parent. And we do, through the course of these young people being involved in the fund, they sort of learn about Justin. So they kind of know, they find out where he went wrong.
Right.
And I think that's just part of the fabric of what we do. The kids come to understand what the wrong path is.
Actually,
and we try to keep them on the right one.
And actually, this is a good segue. They also are familiar with what Jeff's mission is with his presentation called A Message from Justin,
right,
which is about his son, who he was, what he was all about, what he was looking forward to, his music, his passion for skateboarding, his friends. He does a 45-minute presentation. It's audio, video, and a talk about it. And in the last year or so, he has presented it to over 10,000 students in school districts throughout the metro area, including the Hen Hud district just recently.
Right.
And that message is becoming very popular.
And how would somebody, let's say, what could be a parent or an educator, book Jeff if they wanted to have him speak at
Get in touch
community?
with Scott Wolfman, who's also a board member from Wolfman Productions in Connecticut.
And can they do that through the website?
They can go to the website. There is a picture of Jeff giving the talk. You click on it, tells you all about it, and tells you where to contact.
Right. But without putting too fine a point on it, I mean, something Frank and I had been talking about, and both of us are writers, and but that very often creativity does stem from, let's say, maybe some dark places inside of you. But that, but out of that can come some really inspired, creative work. And so there is a delicate balance there that has to be
Gary,
managed.
you do a fair bit of composing.
Right.
Talk about your dark spaces.
There very often inspiration and creativity comes from dark places.
Right.
And if you listen to Justin's music, some of it is a little haunting.
Yeah.
And we like to think of it as, I remember Justin for the first time performing at an open mic at Relay for Life. Mm-hmm. And now, as we're having this discussion, I'm thinking about, well, maybe if we had more places for Justin to express himself,
Right.
maybe it wouldn't have ended up the way it did. And that's kind of what we do.
Yes.
We give lots of opportunities to get this expression out there.
Right.
It's kind of a big part of what we do with the
So
fund,
it's a positive, productive outlet for them.
An
Yeah,
outlet.
and if you look at pop music history, at any song from 50s on, I don't really care. There's always a story from the composer's heart or experience, and we like to nurture them. If you express it,
Right.
you get it out there,
Yes,
and
right.
people share it with
Right.
you. You're not so alone.
Well, you might say it's express it, don't suppress it, right? Isn't that
Right, exactly.
Isn't that sort of the idea?
Yeah, we do support a lot of that.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is a good point to hear the
Yeah,
video.
and I wanted to, yes, I do want to lead into that, Frank. When you were talking about artists you affiliate with, somebody that just about everybody in this area certainly is familiar with, maybe not as much always for his music as for his center field playing days with the Yankees, who could use him right about now, by the way.
Yes.
Bernie Williams, who is a professional musician, and who has worked with the Justin Veatch Fund and performed, right?
That was last year. That was our second annual concert. The whole concert series came out of conversations I used to hear Jeff share with me, since I came from a concert background myself. And I said, well, he always wanted to do like some outdoor thing, festival. That's our dream. We share it. So I said, well, why don't we just do something like that? And I started putting it together through my experience as a concert manager in the past. And as far as Bernie Williams goes, I was networking with a financial advisor in White. We were having lunch. That's what guys like me, like in the insurance business, do. And network with other business professionals. And we were talking about some of the things we do in the community. I told him about the fund, and he told me about an organization he was working with that raises money to get food for people who need it.
Right.
And he said that recently he had Bernie Williams, that he came in and played an acoustic thing. And I said, gee, that might be interesting. So he turned me on to his manager in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And that's how that whole thing came about.
And that was last fall, right?
Last
Fall
October.
of 2012, and it was at the White Plains
Performing
Arts
Arts
Center. Yeah.
We sold it out.
Well, yeah, no, I would expect that to be the
And
case.
it was perfect for
Right.
Bernie because he lives right across the street.
Right. Well, I have to say for the Justin Veatch Fund, getting Bernie Williams was a great catch.
And not only was it a great catch from a selling tickets point of view,
Right.
but also it really put us in center field.
Yeah, yeah.
And we got a lot of good press from it. And Bernie was so gracious. He came to an open mic just before the concert to jam
I remember
with the
that.
kids.
That was like big news, actually, that he showed up unannounced,
Yeah.
sort of, pretty much unannounced. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch right now a brief clip from that Bernie Williams concert where some of the...
Maybe Gary could set it up
Okay,
for
Gary,
you.
why don't you introduce it?
Well, this is the sort of the last song that what we do is we have the young people who have been through the workshop and have come to the open mics. We put a group of all-stars together, and they opened for Bernie Williams. And their last song was one of Justin's songs that they put their own stamp on.
What's the name of the song?
It's ERST, page 14.
And weren't they, the name of that group is, they're known as the Justin
Veatch All-Stars.
All-Stars, right.
It's sort of the cream of the crop from our
Open
workshop.
mics and workshops
Open
and
mics
stuff.
and
yeah.
workshops. And we worked hard, myself and Daisy Joplin and Mark McIntyre and a lot of them, we worked very hard preparing this. So we did, they got to open for Bernie Williams. And this song is one of Justin's songs that they did to close their portion of the show. And Bernie came out.
Bernie came out and jammed with him.
Jammed with him. It was pretty great.
And we should say, well, I mean, not to slight anybody, but the name of the young woman that people will see singing the lead is...
Melissa Fraboda
Right.
from Yorktown. She is a scholarship winner,
Right.
second-year student at Pace University,
Right.
and in my personal opinion, a budding Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah, well, that's high praise indeed, that's for sure, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to
Oh,
see
one
the-
other thing before
yeah.
we watch the video.
Sure.
Explain to them what ERST page 14 is.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, it's a song. It's a very short lyric. It kind of repeats over and over again. And again, when I say haunting, it's that almost spiritually haunting musical portrayal. But it talks about the scientific document map that talks about radio waves.
Right.
And the page 14 is it's a scientific volume.
Oh, reference, or really?
reference
Yes.
to
Oh.
the specific radio wave that is sort of the basis of the song. So it's and you should listen to
There's
it.
only one line, which
Well,
you'll
actually,
hear.
before we go, because it's so short and we happen to have it in front of us, I can just read the lyrics that I have, which is, "And I can't stay away because you're a radio wave and you always seem to be transmitting to my brain." Right, that's the lyric. Yeah.
Real quick story about that is Jeff got an email. Once we put this CD out of Justin's tunes, it found its way around the globe through the internet.
Right.
And somebody emailed Jeff and said, "Hey, I have a friend that tattooed that line on his rib cage." And of course Jeff said, "I'll believe that when I see it." So
Right.
what happened was he got this kid, Ollie, this friend of his, Ollie, who was in a band, who sent the picture. And Jeff shows it in his presentation.
Really?
And Jeff wrote back to him, "Why on earth would you do that?" And he said, "Because I too am a recovering drug addict. And Justin's words remind me who I am."
Wow.
Very powerful.
That is.
So
Yes,
the song
right.
you're going to see now is where that comes from.
Okay, good.
Okay, so this is ESRT page 14, sung by the Justin Veatch All-Stars.
Plus the suit's not.
Maybe when we come out of it, we should talk about the CD.
Also, this DVD is available to.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're back now. Frank, I know you had a question.
Yeah, you know, it's clear that you do a lot of things for kids. It's a very comprehensive approach to satisfy your mission and the specific needs of young people, whether they're in music or not. Could you talk to us a little bit about what it does for them? You do these things, what does it do for them?
It's interesting because I've had that conversation with several adults, and even when I speak publicly, I always speak about what we bring to these kids through their music experiences is full self-expression, confidence, courage. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to get up in front of your peers
absolutely.
and bare yourself, and the collaborative work that they do together and working in teams and respecting one another. These are all the qualities of leadership. And whether they become professional musicians or not, or like Gary, take another course in life, but still plays, they will always have that with them to express those moments that they need to get out and enjoy. These are the qualities of leadership. And as I always say, and we could use some leaders today, couldn't we?
And so what are some examples of that? I mean, you've had a lot of kids go through the program over the years.
Yeah.
What are some of the stories you would like to tell?
Tell them about Mark.
Oh,
Mark McIntyre.
Mark is, you saw him on the video. He's a fantastic guitar player, and just graduated this year from Yorktown High School, going to NYU music school. But Mark really took on the role at this show,
Right.
to write the charts, organize all the musicians, make sure all the performances were properly backed up.
Right.
And organized the horns, everything. He did all of that. He organized it, and he and I had a conversation because we had to cut something out of the show because
And
it
we're
was
going to
too
have
long.
to cut away very quickly, Gary. So, yeah.
But he sort of really took on a leadership role and helped all the other musicians.
And that's just one example. There's many others,
that
right?
is,
Yeah. No, but
there's your
that-
answer.
That's a
right
great
there, in a
example,
nutshell.
actually, of how the fund helps young people and motivates them. So, anyhow, we do have, the 30 minutes goes by very fast, especially when we have very interesting guests like yourselves. So, thanks very much, Gary Cusano and Thom Ianniccari from the Board of Directors of the Justin Veatch Fund.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yeah. And send our best to the fund and to the beaches, please. And thank you for watching Frank Talks with Bruce the Blog. And remember, when Bruce the Blog listens,